Come on, one of our favorite guests.
What up, Coach? Good to see you.
I haven't taken care of that part, though. You told me
at some point we get worked out.
Since when is a handshake a bad thing? A hearty handshake used to be a staple of Americana, if you will, and now I get ridiculed for it.
Nick Wright, when I first met you, a handshake or anything, you were totally against.
Right,
like
and you tried to get me to warm up to physical contact with other human beings. I shake Coach's hand.
Coach does not need to see our dirty.
It's an odd choice by me, but that's the way I went.
I have that effect on a lot of people.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
He drafted you in the first round, Coach.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
Coach, let's talk about the Steelers for a beat here. They won a very physical and costly game against the Bengals on Monday. Obviously, the biggest story of the game was the Ryan Shazier injury, which we've discussed at length. But the other storyline here was the Steelers once again playing to the level of their competition, whether it's up or down. They had to come back from down 17 in this one. Here's Big Ben on his team responding to adversity.
Championship caliber teams find ways to win football games, right? I mean, I know that you guys have been here long enough and seen us play, and I've been a part of this, that in the past, when we've had these close games that we've had this year, it seems like in the past we haven't found ways to win them. And championship caliber teams like the Patriots and others find ways to win those close games. And this year we're finding ways to win these close games, whether that's just believing in each other, never giving up, never feeling like you're out of it. I just think it's trust, faith, and belief in each other and in what we're doing.
Coach, what do you think? Is Big Ben right that the Steelers are a championship caliber team?
Well, it doesn't matter whether I think they're definitely a championship caliber team, and whether he's right on it being a situation where they deal really well with adversity or whether they're inconsistent, all that matters is what they believe. So if he believes they're doing an excellent job of overcoming adversity and finishing games, and that's the sense in the locker room, to me, that's a great thing. As a coaching staff, you're probably looking at it going, why are we starting slow? Why are we having these issues? But if the players collectively agree that or see it that way, to me, that's a really positive thing that's coming out of the locker room.
But isn't that a far more dangerous position to find yourself in? I mean, we say it all the time, they're playing up, they're playing down. They really play up and down. I mean, they go out against the Bengals, and they're down 17-0. They got to fight and claw their way back to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, it's not where you want to be. And from a coaching perspective, it's frustrating because you understand the potential that this team has. You see what they can do offensively at any given point. And going through a long season, you get these ups and downs. Going through a long season, you tend to look past opponents, and you're constantly trying to get your team not to do that. But the fact that they have been able to turn it on when they need to and win these games is a real positive. And their outlook is more important than the coach's outlook because they're seeing it as, look how resilient we are, not look at how inconsistent we are.
Ben, players see things they want you to see them. But the truth of the matter is any player would want to be great and be great every week. Every player and every team wants to be consistent. The real championship teams are more consistent than the other teams. Now, all championship teams do find a way to win. But I've watched the games, though, Ben. The teams haven't played great. Now, if teams were playing out of their mind against you, then I would sit back and be like, you know something? Man, we're getting everyone's best shot. Everyone's getting up for us. Everyone's playing great football. But no, that's not the case. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they look at the opposition. They look ahead. They've already looked ahead to the New England game, and they play to that opposition. All right? They let a lot of noise. As you mentioned earlier, there's different families, they got different rules, and they got different functionality. They function in chaos different than other people. That's kind of the way they do things. But being consistent is what championship football is about, because when the weather changes, December and January, those are the things that are more predictable. Their defense, that's a real concern. All right, their corners, their inability to be able to get off the field on third down. Now, that offense, the reason why I would be concerned is because that offense is not able to carry them. I don't know if their defense is going to play the way they did the first 10 games.
That's especially, and I want to preface it with, I wouldn't even feel right discussing this if Ryan Shazier hadn't shown real progress. We got very promising news out of Pittsburgh yesterday about him getting movement back in his legs, and that he's going to be back home today. So that's obviously the more important part of it. Ryan Shazier, going into Monday night's game, he and Calais Campbell were neck and neck for Defensive Player of the Year. Like, missing him is an enormous problem for them. Joe Hayden, that secondary, you can line up the problems the secondary's had with when Joe Hayden broke his leg.
Yes.
Like, now they expect to get Joe Hayden back.
Yes, they have a journeyman, Gerald Sensabaugh, playing the left corner on the right side of offense. They benched him during the game last week. So that problem is not going to go away.
So if they are going to be a championship caliber team with those injuries on defense, they're going to have to do it the way the Steelers have been in the mix the last few years, which is simply by being better than you on offense. And the last 7 weeks, since this team's been on a 7-game winning streak, here's what they have going for them. They have a quarterback who's playing over this stretch like a top 5 quarterback. I believe in Mike Tomlin. I think they have a top 5 coach. And over the last 7 weeks, they've had the best running back in football in Le'Veon Bell outside of maybe Alvin Kamara, and the best wide receiver in football outside of no one in Antonio Brown. Like, that's why have I been so high on the Steelers? Because I'm, in all sports, a better on huge talent. And the Steelers have such overwhelming talent on both sides of the ball when healthy, and on the offensive side of the ball right now. Like, what you can't, the Patriots always talk about, we want to take away, if we're playing Julio Jones in the Super Bowl, that's the guy we want to take away. Now, they weren't able to, but they try to key on who is your true difference maker, take him away. You can't, who are you going to take away against Pittsburgh? Pick the guy, because the guy you don't say is the best in the league at what he does. Like, that's why there's such a tough matchup.
Well, look, when New England plays them, they're going to double team Antonio Brown. That's the first thing.
Yep.
They're going to have and they're going to do that with the post safety. They're going to have an 8-man box to deal with the running game. So there'll be a guy down the box. And the key thing there is to keep Ben Roethlisberger in the pocket, because with Ben, big plays or broken plays become big plays.
Yes.
Now, what they're going to, and that's the formula. Okay. Is it an easy formula to execute? No, it's not. But New England has done it in the past and has the capacity to do that. Now, what Pittsburgh's going to have to do is be able to create some things to break those tendencies. And just going back to the consistency versus resilience debate, there's a lot of teams, Cleveland, you see it weekly, Cincinnati, you saw it last week, even when they play really well, they find a way to lose those games. So you do have to give Pittsburgh some credit for when they're not playing well to find a way to win those games.
You got a lot of teams in this league that feel like they're 50 or 55-minute teams, right? Teams that can stick around, and then find a way at the very end. The Jets most this year have felt like that. I know they got a big win. Where it's like, oh, you're right there. The Browns have felt like that all year. The Steelers are a full 60-minute team.
Well, this is the thing I don't like about the Steelers, is the Steelers think, and just like you think they're that talented. And when you get in these cold weather games, you can't throw the ball, the wind is blowing 25 miles an hour, just thinking I'm a good team, that don't get it done in the playoffs. All right? They won't be able to replace Ryan Shazier and their cornerback play. If it don't, New England's going to eat them up with their running backs getting on their linebackers and out in space.
Right now, Bill Belichick was like, what was the second thing you said? I have to double team AB? Okay, cool. Got it.
I think he's familiar with that plan.
Right. All right, Coach, stick around. Coming up, Tom Brady is defending Rob Gronkowski. You will not believe what that guy has to